Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Whether you're just starting out or scaling up, this is your space to connect, learn, and grow alongside a community of trailblazing women who, just like you, they are making their mark in the world of business. From personal branding to powerhouse marketing, from leadership to lifestyle tips, we've got you covered. So get ready to ignite your passion, fuel your purpose, and unlock your potential with Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. Let's make this journey together and turn your entrepreneurial dreams into reality. Hey guys, welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I'm super excited. I have Shelley Meche'tte with me today, and I'm super excited because we're going to hear all about her and what she can do for you. First off, Shelley, welcome. And I'd love you to tell me first off, what brought you to your business and your name of your business and what you do for everybody.
Yes. So we'll start with the name of my business is the Powerful Woman. Yes. And so that play on power, her. And so yes, that is my business. What I do is I'm a certified life purpose and confidence coach, an international speaker, author, and a mom life strategist. And what brought me to my business is the love of women. That's really the easy answer. It's the love of women. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I became a stay-at-home mom after being in the workforce since I was about 15. But when I became pregnant with my second daughter, I didn't want the same experiences that I had had with my first daughter. I was up in the morning. I dropped her off at 6 something in the morning, saw her again at 6 in the evening. And then there were some daycare issues. And so I became a stay-at-home mom. But what I didn't know is that being a stay-at-home mom, I left my identity back at work. And I didn't know that. So when my children were maybe around 5 and 12, 6, somewhere around in that area, I had a full, complete emotional breakdown in my bathroom, right in the bathroom mirror, fetal position. I don't know who was in on that floor screaming, y'all. Then I found out it was me.
And how many women really have had that experience, but they don't talk about it? Am I right?
Exactly. But it was at that moment that I knew, okay, something has to change. And it started with me trying to figure out who am I outside of motherhood, outside of who the employee was, outside of all of these titles. And it started there. And then I began learning life balance, how to balance who I am, the woman, with who I am, the mother, with who I am, the employee, with who I am, the wife, understanding self care and how to pour back into me so I could pour back into others. With that, and I found so much out about myself. I said, I know it got to be another woman out here dealing with this. Okay, I know it got to be another mama out here who have these same things that I do. And I found that love, but it all started because I love women, and there's so much potential in women. There's so much that women have to give. I wanted to help them tap into it and really hone in to everything and all that they are as women, and then your other titles.
Wow. I looked at your website and I saw happy everywhere. That used to be my nickname, by the way, in a sorority. Happy.
Yes.
So tell them about your the happy that you bring into
Yes.
everything and how their identity and purpose. So if you don't mind.
Hmm. Absolutely. What I found is that happiness wasn't someone else's responsibility. My happiness wasn't my husband's responsibility. It wasn't my children's responsibility. That was my responsibility to find who I was, to find who I was purposed to be, and to align myself with those things. And so I really believe that when we find personal happiness, when we find personal joy, when we find our own purpose, when we're able to tap into our own confidence, then we become these people who are so secure in who we are and who we've been called to be. That's when we can pour it into others, including our family, including our friends, in any dynamic that we're in. We do that, but first it has to come from within. And that's our responsibility, no one else's.
Wow. So with that, knowing that, I have a really quick question for you. And
Yes.
I know you probably have a favorite quote.
I do. And my favorite quote, listen, y'all, my favorite quote is the one that I gave to myself, to be honest. And my favorite quote is that I never have to choose to be either or. I can always be an and I get to complete the sentence. And so that is what I tell, my fellow mom. You never have to choose, because that's what I felt, that I had to choose between being an entrepreneur and between being, a very present mom, because society will make you think you only get to be one. You can either be a good mother or you could be a great businesswoman. And no. And so I ended up having to give myself a motto of, you never have to choose. There's never either or. You're always an and you get to complete that sentence.
Wow. So I hate to say this, but in comments, I want to hear what your and is. Don't you want to see what they put in there?
Yeah.
Wherever this goes, I want them to say, and what
Yes.
is your and? Your
What
everything.
is your and?
Hmm.
And
That's
there's so many things, and you become so fascinated with yourself when you stop trying to be either or, but you complete the and. When you get to thinking about all of the wonderful and magnificent things that are within you, and just you, the person, you can't help but sit back and be like, me? That's me. It really builds who you are. And the and doesn't have to be something significant, and I'm a scientist. No, and I'm a great baker, and my toes look amazing in a pedicure. You know what I'm saying? What is your and? We make it this big grand thing that it doesn't have to be. Your and is everything that you are, everything that you've been created to be. And it's a beautiful thing.
Oh my God, that is just so sweet. I love that and I mean, that is a great motto. So I'm gonna add an and on here, and she is a fabulous book author as well. And
Oh,
how many
thank
books
you.
do you have?
I have 2 solo books and 2 collabs.
Tell us about it. I saw
Ye
Power Mind. I saw that.
Yes, yes,
And your
and so
7
what
Days to
happened.
Happy. So tell us all about
Yes,
each
okay, child. Yes, I really love Power Her Minds because that came from me doing quotes. And I would do quotes on Facebook. I think it was like maybe a couple of times a week I would do quotes on Facebook. And people were wondering where I was getting these quotes from, because they, when they looked them up, they didn't see them. And so I had a couple of people like, where can I find these quotes? Or who are these quotes from? And I'm like, baby, this is my own brain.
a
And
lot
I
of
had a,
and there,
yeah,
right?
some and, right? And so what happened was I had several people ask about it. So I said, I'm just going to take it and put it into a little book. And I'm going to make these quotes, and then I'm also going to put a touch of my children in it too, because this is not just to empower me, it's to empower the one. And again, everything was based around my children and raising them, so it's to empower the ones that we're raising as well. And so I had named it Power Her Quotes, which were quotes for myself, and quotes for the children, my legacies that I was raising as well, because I'm a firm believer in being my sister's hype woman and being my sister's keeper. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm always here to build you up. And I wanted a piece of that in there so that we can pass that to our legacies as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now I have to get the book so I can use your quotes on my website and put your name on them, And in the magazine. I mean, that would just be so great. Now I can like quote Shelley Meche'tte. Yeah, I'm so excited.
I love it.
Tell us about the other books.
Yes, and 70 Days of Happy, actually, again, I'm responsible. I'm responsible for my own happiness. But it came out of a challenge that I did. And the challenge was, I think it was something like for 90 days, just say positive things for 90 days. Not saying that things are not going to happen in your life, not saying that, you're not going to want to scream, but if you can change those things instead of spending a lot of time thinking about that, what if you change the words? Acknowledge the hard, but just change the words. And so I did the challenge, and after the 90-day challenge, I'm pretty much a laid back person, pretty cool, pretty happy, but I did find, wow, that did kind of help my mindset, and it really helped to put a new perspective on things. And I said, what if I take some of the best things that I learned throughout these 90 days and put them into a book? And it started out with, okay, I'll just do 30 days. But then I'm like, well, wait a minute, then there's this and that. Let me do another. And when I was done, I had 70 days of things that we can do to really pour back into us. It's filled with personal stories. One of my favorite story, which happened to be one of other people's favorite, which was kind of hard for me to write, is my story about forgiving my father who was not in my life. And I can't remember what day it is, but it's like today, decide to forgive. And so when I wrote that story about how I had to forgive my father, it's a really vulnerable part of me of how, I was driving down the street and I was literally just in tears, just crying. I couldn't even see my way home. I don't even know how I made it home, to tell you the truth, but I was just in tears going, this person hurt me and this person hurt me and this person hurt me. And in that moment of that distress, I just screamed out, and I forgive you. And I just named these people who had hurt me, my father being at the top of the list. And I just said, I forgive you. And so things like that, where we have to take control of our own happy. I've had so many people reach out to me and say, that was my favorite chapter. And they're really quick. It's like 2 pages, just something for you to do that day. It's a daily journal. But I've had many people stop there and say, this is the one that really touched my heart. Being able to forgive and understanding that I'm not going to always get a reason, but the forgiveness is on me.
It's almost like we're going back to the beginning. This happened, and
Yes.
this is the
And this,
forgiveness I'm going to do for
yes,
me to be happy.
yes. And you see how beautiful your and was? This and I can go ahead and I can forgive. There's so many ands that you can add, at the end. And that is where I found, wow, this was actually therapeutic for me too.
100%.
It was therapeutic, and I absolutely love that I had that opportunity, which led me to another opportunity to collab on one of my books, where I was able to really talk about being empowered. And in there, I have a chapter in there called Too Dark for Love, because as I grew, there were so many people who always who said, oh, you're pretty, but, or I would never be interested in you because you're too dark. I literally had a young man who said to me, I would never be able to date you because I may end up really, really liking you. So I was like, okay. I was looking like you, Angel, and I'm like, okay. He goes, but I would never be able to marry you. I'd never marry you, so I wouldn't even want to start dating you. He's like, because if we had children, our children would be too dark because of you.
Or like they might have red hair. Well, they
Yeah.
might have that birthmark that is on my butt that, like that people think that I did
Yes.
when I was a kid.
Yes.
And we're standing in the grocery store. I'm going to make you laugh. We're standing in the
Right.
grocery store. My mom and somebody said, oh, she's got a little something. I guess they thought I did something because I have a really dark spot where my diaper was. My mother licked her hand and rubbed it. That's how the story goes. So I totally get it. The butt,
Oh,
but the butt
I
needs
love
to
it.
go away and change that butt totally to what you said from the beginning
Yeah.
and the end.
Yes. And with that, I go into the story of just how brokenhearted I was, and I had to empower myself and find my own beauty within, because I was pretty young when that happened. And so I went through my life going, oh gosh, these are the incidents in my life that made me go, oh gosh, what's wrong with me? Or, oh gosh, why can't I be loved? My father didn't love me. This person did. And now here's somebody in my face telling me I'm not even worthy of being loved because of my tone. And so just really being able to take those things, acknowledge those things, acknowledge that pain, and then go, so now what do we do with it?
Yep.
So, yeah.
totally get it. Oh my God. This speaks to so many women on so many levels that they have to acknowledge it, do the and
Hmm.
so they can be happy. I love it.
Yes. And again, as I've said, more than once, it's a painful road, but it's our responsibility. And it makes it a lot easier when we have the support, of those who love us and care about us and who pour life into us. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be up to us if we want it or not.
Mhm. Yep. And those 7 days, let's go back to your book, your 7 days of happy.
70.
Also, 70, I'm sorry, 70 days of happy also has a
Hmm.
journal to go with it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
tell them about how it
Yes.
correlates and what they can do with that.
Listen, you guys, I'm telling you, this journal takes this book, to 190%. It's wonderful to read the book. It's wonderful to connect and to see where you fall in line with this book. But I'm telling you, you find out so much more about yourself, your journey, some areas where maybe you haven't healed when you literally sit down. This is 70 days of journaling. And so you find out a lot about you. You find out things that you thought you liked that you didn't like. I had to ask myself one day, do you like Cheerios or do you just eat them because the kids leave them? And you don't want the food wasted. I had to go back and find out some things about myself. And when going through this journal, this is what happens. You find out about yourself. You find out what truly makes me happy. You find out who have I not forgiven and why can't I forgive you. You find out, where did I leave my passions? Why do I feel unhappy? Why does this trigger me? So that by the end of these 70 days, you will have the pure joy and genuine happiness. You don't have to wear a mask of happiness because you are the happiness. Who doesn't want to live like that?
Yeah, when you said that, I love that. Everybody has to live like that, number one. Number two, the second thing is when you were talking about the Cheerios, trying to see if you really liked it, reminded me of the movie Runaway Bride, that she always took on the eggs that the guy had.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and I mean, we do that as women.
Yes,
We take on that, but does that really make us happy?
exactly. And so when you're going through this journal, you get to find out, do I like Cheerios? No, I'm putting them suckers out, which is what I did.
Yeah.
I like Honey Nut Cheerios, just in case you care. But I found out, girl, let me throw them things away.
Your kids probably like Honey Nut Cheerios
They
better too.
probably did too. Okay. While I'm over there giving y'all just regular Cheerios, you probably wanted the honey nut just like I did. But we get conditioned that this is the way, that it's supposed to be. This is what makes you happy. So this is what makes me happy. And a lot of times we don't even ask the other person, is that what makes you happy? Because I'm not too sure if it makes me happy. We're so afraid of these conversations, and they're really the conversations that are going to set you free. Even if it's in your child, even if it's in your spouse, I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's some things your pets don't even like, okay?
I get it. I like so my dog is very persnickety, say. He's a Yorkie. His name's
Oh,
Romeo.
so cute.
Mm. He's 6.5 pounds. And so I'll put out his food and we mix it with, some other food, and he'd just stare at it like that ain't happening. And then you go, okay, what do you want? And yes, you're right. The dog
Yeah,
doesn't like some things we put there.
okay.
They
He like,
picky.
why you forcing me to have this?
They're picky. You need to be just as picky about your life, correct, Shelley?
I love that. Yes. And what's so awesome about it, Angel, is you have that right. We can't control everything in life. We will never control everything in life. But one of the things that we do get to control is how we react in life and what we're going to allow and not allow in our lives. Those are something I can't change you. I can't change how you interact. I can't change the things that you do. If you're a toxic person, I can't change any of those things. But what I can do is say, I won't allow that toxicity to come into my world because then it changes who I enjoy being.
Love it. I love it. That is so true. So, so you're a life coach. And so
Yes.
tell me a process of somebody working with you. What is
Hmm.
some of the, how do they work with you? Some of the things that they actually can do to connect with you as well.
Yes. First of all, I just love being a life coach. I love being a purpose and confidence coach. I love seeing that gleam, in women's eyes when they find the confidence to step out and do their business, and when they can say this is mine. And so when a client comes to work with me, one of the first things that I ask her is, tell me about yourself. And 9 times out of 10, and this is not a crazy thing because a lot of us do it, but 9 times out of 10, they'll go, oh, I'm a mom. I've been married for such and such years. I used to work at Mattel and I just this, and now I'm an executive and blah, blah, blah. I want to go from that to having my own business and blah, blah, blah. And I will smile and tell them, thank you so much. Now tell me about yourself. And it stumps 90% of them because we become accustomed to living through our titles. And so the first thing that we do is find out who you are, because you'll never be able to properly run your business and have a successful business if you don't even know who you are. If you don't know what you enjoy, if you don't know what makes you happy, how can you run a successful business? Because I don't know where to go. So we find out, who are you? And then we find out, because I work with mompreneurs, what is your mom type? Because that really plays a role. We have single parents, we have married parents, we have stay-at-home parents. What is your mom type? Because for the stay-at-home mom, your journey is going to look different from the married mom who works 9 to 5. And so we can't build a business in the same way. Time looks different. The strategy could look a little different. Your when you map out what it is that you need to do, it could look different, and it's going to look different. So those are the top things we do. I find out, who are you? I find out what's your mom type, and then we begin looking at your schedule to say, now, according to this mom type, how much time do you realistically have to block out so we can begin this schedule? What are the top 3 things that you need to do? Not 10, not 15, the top 3. And then we're going to work out the first 3 steps for those top things. That's it. And we'll flow from there.
You just make everything easy and seamless, it sounds like.
We That's what we want. We're entrepreneurs. We don't have time for all the extra.
We don't. The
We want to
extra just creates boom boom.
it creates chaos. It creates frustration. We do have a life outside of entrepreneurship. We do. We have a life that's filled with friendships. We have a life that's filled with relationships. We like to travel. There are other things that we like to do. We don't want complicated to be in it.
Mm-mm.
Let's
Easy.
make it simple and let's make it effective. And let's do it with clarity. So we're going to find out who you are, what your mom type is, those top 3 goals with only 3 steps, and we're going to be clear about it. And you're going to get loads of accountability, because the next time we see each other, I need to see what you did.
So if somebody wanted to work with you, where could they find you? What could they do to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can go to my website, which is www.shelleymechette. Go.
Right.
Because I know the pronunciation and the spelling, they do not correlate. So my website is shelleymechette.com, and we could connect there. We can also connect on Instagram. You can always DM me, and you can always set up a coffee chat with me, a 30-minute coffee chat where we'll be able to discuss one of the top problems that you're having as a mompreneur. And what's that one struggle, so that we can even begin on that coffee chat to say, hey, why don't we try this one principle that connects with your mom type? And then let's see where we go from there.
And maybe even realize that the challenge they think they have might not be that challenge. It might be something else.
Yes, that does happen a lot too. It happens a lot. A lot of times, Angel, when we're going, I can't get this done, I can't get that done, I have a problem here, I have a problem over there. A lot of times what happens is the core of the problem could be you don't have the clarity. The core of the problem could be you don't really understand your target audience. The core could be you just have too many ideas and you haven't brought them in. So let's hit the core. And a lot of times, once we hit the core, they'll find, oh, I did already know, or I did understand, how to do this. I just needed someone to help me bring that out, to put it in correlation, to give me a path.
That's why you're
And
the
that's
life
what we
purpose.
do.
Yeah, that's why
And
you're
that's
the
what we
life
do.
purpose coach. Because we don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
see it. We need someone else to see it for us usually.
Yes. And I love all of the wonderful women that I work with. Not all of them are moms, but most of them, because I'm a mom life strategist. But even being able to work with the women who are not moms, I literally just had a client and she was just all over the place. And she's like, I can't seem to do A, B, and C. And I just saw in her eyes, she just began going, oh my gosh, oh my God. And I'm like, let's take a breath. Let's move back and let's go back to the one real desire that you have. And what she found out is she's like, well, really, I've actually been avoiding doing what I really wanted to do. This was really just an avoidance for me to do all of these things over here because I didn't really understand how to do this, which is what I really wanted to do over here. So we were able to make a personalized plan for her where she could actually do what she desired to do and not be a busy person and just doing things because at the end of the day, she just had a blockage for what she really wanted.
We can't see beyond the forest sometimes.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
It's just crowded in there.
It's just crowded. And that's just because you're such a visionary. A lot of times as female entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs, we just have so much vision and we're just so excited about everything. It all begins to jumble and then we sit and we can't do anything. Now we feel stuck. Now we feel like maybe we weren't called to do this. Now everything is chaotic. Now we don't know what to do. Now we're frustrated. Now we're overwhelmed and now we're doing nothing.
I get it. Totally, 100%. We've all been there. We've
Mm-hmm.
all been there with all the to-do list and
Yes.
everything else. We just need that clarity. So I'm going to ask you this next question. We spoke about your books.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know, what is your favorite book that is your go-to book and that you would actually and maybe something you learned inside of that book, if you don't mind.
Yes, yes. I don't necessarily have a favorite go-to book, but I literally just read a book not too long ago, and it was called Damaged but Not Destroyed. And it was by Pastor Mike Todd. And what I loved in this book is that, again, he acknowledged that so many of us, whether it was through our own doing or through someone else doing, we all have some type of baggage or damage that we may be living with, but that damage does not have to destroy us. That damage does not have to remove purpose. That damage doesn't remove the person that we were created to be. But one of the things that we need to remember is that not acknowledging that damage is what begins the whirlwind of a downfall for us because we become so afraid of acknowledging that, yes, I've been hurt over here, or I've literally been damaged over here. This has caused some negative habits in my life, or it's caused me to not be the best version that I can be. And one of the things that I picked up from that, which I really love, is that my wounds do not determine my worth. And that's what I really got out of that. And so again, I read that book recently and it just reminded me of that. I can be wounded, but I'll never be unworthy.
And blah, 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 blah.
And exactly. And yes, and my passion is still there, the person that I've been created to be. And so don't let those things lie to you and make you think that you're not worthy of whatever it is, worthy of love, worthy of being a parent, worthy of this relationship. That damage does not control that.
Shelley, I have a new book or course for you, or both. It's and.
Yeah. I love it.
It's
I love
and.
it, girl. Don't make me get off here and start breaking down this new book, The Life of Anne. You better stop.
Oh, that's a good one. The life
That is kind of cute.
Oh, that is cute. Okay. Here we go. Things happen when we talk, okay? It just happens and
It's ideas just begin popping out.
boom, boom, boom. All right. I love your book. I cannot wait to put it on our book reading list. The
Oh,
other one is I have jam songs that get me in the mood to make me happy to have my Ann. So what
yes.
is do you have a go-to song or group of songs? And do you
I
mind
do have a
sharing?
couple of songs. I do have a couple of songs. There's one song, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I think it's Terrian Woods, but I heard this on YouTube one day, and it has been my song ever since. And it's called Big God, and it just has this amazing hype beat to it. Lots of clapping, and it's just talking about no matter what my problems are, what I'm going through, I have a big God, and He can take those things on for me. And so when I'm feeling like, oh gosh, I just can't do this, I turn on that song and I get all hyped and I'm like, okay, Lord, it's nothing that you can't do. What we got to do today? What we got? I love that. And then all the way on the other side, do not play with me with Will Smith's getting jiggy with it. Do not play with me. Okay. I will be dancing so hard in my car and I'm trying to jiggy and drive, all at the same time. And so, yeah, I love those songs because I do need to be reminded sometimes that it may not be working for me, but God can work out all things. And then I love to get in my car and just jiggy.
I know what's got it. You got getting jiggy with it.
Yeah. you know? And so when I tell people that, they laugh. I'm like, I know that it's on two different sides of the world, but I like to get my jiggy. And I love to be reminded of what my God can do.
Well, I can't wait to listen to Big God. I really can't. That is
I
going to be
love it.
fun. I can't wait. And I'm into getting jiggy with it too.
Yeah.
So I get
Okay. Okay. What can't a little jiggy fix?
it. Nothing. It's got a lot of and in it.
You see? I love it.
I love it too. Is there any other thing you want to tell our audience that we haven't talked about yet?
I
Anything?
think
Doesn't
I
matter.
think we have touched on everything, but again, I just want to reiterate to female entrepreneurs that you can have it all. You really can. You just need the proper schedule to do it. And I think we get caught up in, I have to have everything just right now at this time, and if it doesn't look a certain way, then I'm not successful at this thing. And that's not true. I believe it was Catherine Hepburn who said, women can have it all, just not at the same time. And I have held on. That's another quote that I love, and I have held on to that quote for many, many years. And when I began to understand how to properly maneuver my schedule and how to properly create life balance for myself and how to really hone into my time management, I took that and changed it a little to, we can have it all. You just need the proper schedule to do it.
I love it. That is so true. And I think you have a freebie for them. Don't you have
Yes,
a
I
freebie?
do.
Tell
Yes,
them.
I do.
So
My
excited.
guide. It is my guide, The Balanced Mom Blueprint. And it is about you being able to hone your confidence, chase your dreams, and embrace motherhood with ease. We can do all of those things. You can be a confident mompreneur. You can be a confident stay-at-home mom. You can be a confident 9 to 5 mom. You can be a confident woman and female entrepreneur. And you can balance all of these things where you're not leaving one thing, falling off the table. We have a 100% bandwidth. That's it. Just 100%. And when we try to go beyond that, that's what causes the chaos. But what we need to be able to do is understand that in that realm, we have a certain life season, and every life season is going to require something different in your time management. So in this life season, you may be able to put 50% of your time into the business, 20% of your time into this, another 20% of time, into that. But when your season changes and perhaps you have a new marriage or a new relationship, maybe now you're going to have to put 40% into the relationship, and we're going to have to take it down to 25% in the business. Be willing and be flexible. You only get 100%. work with your time, and work with your season so that you can be successful in every area of your life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Is so true that we have to work within the season that we have
Yes,
and put our time in where we need to put it. 'Cause-
exactly.
And have the ability to adjust. I've never heard it
Yes,
say that way. And oh my
yes,
God, that is amazing.
yes. I learned it the hard way, Angel.
I think we learn it, but we never really understand it and give ourselves the freedom.
We need to give ourselves the freedom. But I can truly say, I spend so much time outside of it. I understand. I understand that if I don't do this, I'm going to be in chaos like before. And if I do end up in that chaos, I remind myself, oh, where have you dishonored yourself in your time management? Where have you not given yourself the self-care that you need? Have you not loved on yourself the way you need to? What are we doing? Have you taken on other things that your time says that you can't take on, but you didn't want to be the bad guy, so you took it on anyway, and now you're frustrated? Where have you dishonored this time, and how can we bring it back?
Oh my God, love it. Guys, so can you give them the site to where to go to get the
Yes.
freebie, if you don't mind?
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. You can go to my website, which is www.shelleymeche'tte.com, and I'm actually leaving the link with you, Angel, so that they'll be able to get the Balanced Mom Blueprint. You guys want to make sure that you get that. Begin your journey. There are questions in there so that you can begin to understand your balance. We talk about the myth of balance. There's a little bit of myth in there, but you got to get it. To be able to find out.
Definitely. All right,
Yes.
Shelley, I loved having you on here. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. So much fun. I love you, Angel.
You rock. We'll talk later, Shelley.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.